Welcome to a very special Valentine's Day edition of Hype, or, if you prefer, Singles Awareness Day. Random Valentine's Day fact for you. In South Korea, men give women chocolate candy on Valentine's Day. A month later, women are expected to return the favor with non-chocolate candy on March 14th. And on April 14th, if you didn't get anything at all, you have to eat black noodles to symbolically mourn your singleness. So, if you're starting to get down about being single today, just think, it could be worse. You could be culturally expected to suck down black noodles as a symbol of your own loneliness. Well, anyway, on a totally unrelated topic, if you haven't gotten your final payment in for the retreat, we need your money today. Also, if you're one of those few lame sauces who still haven't checked out the Hype blog at www.explorethehype.blogspot.com, get off your butt and do it. Okay. So, if you saw last week's lesson, you heard Kelly talking about how sex was like fire. In the right situation, an awesome thing. But in the wrong circumstances, it can be destructive. You also got a chance to witness Kelly and I's awesome Bear Grylls-like fire building skills. Well, this week, we're going to be talking about one of those instances where sex gets out of control. Pornography. Now, somehow, I don't think I really need to define pornography to you, but just in case I do, here you go. Pornography is anything that you watch, read, listen to, or interact with for the sole purpose of causing sexual excitement. Now that's a pretty broad definition, but then again, pornography is a pretty broad topic. Now if you've been around church for any length of time at all, you probably already know that pornography is not something that you should be doing. But maybe nobody has ever bothered to explain to you exactly why that is. After all, it's not hurting anybody, right? There aren't any consequences, unless you get caught, that is. You aren't going to make anybody pregnant or get pregnant. There are no victims. Plus, maybe you're already following God's plan by not having sex till you're married. And that's hard enough as it is. Who could blame you for dipping your toe in the water just to keep from jumping in? If that's what you're thinking, well, I don't really blame you. We live in a super sexualized culture, and you guys have more access to porn than even my generation did. But let me tell you, and believe me when I say this, you are hurting people. And most of all, you're hurting yourself. Sexual images and experiences have a way of sticking in your brain once you encounter them, no matter how much you might wish them not to, after the fact. The reason that's a problem is because the things you see in porn are not what sex is like in real life. People don't act like that, talk like that, and with very few exceptions, look like that. It's Hollywood. It's smoke and mirrors. And it's a lie that changes the way you think sex should be. Instead of viewing sex like God wants you to look at it, as a combination of spiritual, emotional, and physical factors that's reserved for the boundaries of marriage, you begin to look at sex like the producers of pornography want you to look at it, as a meaningless physical act with no ramifications, no emotional factors, and certainly no spiritual elements. Which is just how they want you to view it, by the way, because then you'll begin to see nothing wrong with what you are doing and subsequently look at porn more, which makes them lots and lots of money. And here's another thing about porn. It objectifies men and women, but mostly women, as purely sexual objects. It takes human beings with thoughts, fears, love, emotions, people with moms and dads and sisters and brothers, and transforms them in your eyes into tools of gratification. And that changes the way you treat people in your day-to-day life. It changes your relationships. It will change your marriage. It's the reason sending pornographic text messages has gotten so mainstream in the last few years. Guys, you have been trained by pornography and the sexual culture to think there is nothing wrong with picking away at your girlfriend until she finally relents and sends you a naked picture. Now, what kind of message do you think that sends her? That you like her for who she is? Or that you like her for who she is underneath her clothes? And then when she breaks up with you, you send out that picture to all your friends to get even. An act that is so childish, it's downright contemptible, not to mention likely to send you to jail for 30 years. And if you don't believe me, do a little research into the headlines lately. Girls, you think that sending naked pictures of yourself over a phone will make your boyfriend like you more. It won't. It will only tell him that you're willing to be sexualized by him, that you have nothing to offer but your body, that you are only worth the sum of the sexual experiences you are willing to give him. It's time to put a stop to this. It's time to stop giving the porn industry a new audience. It's time to stop ruining marriages that are still 10, 15, 20 years away from happening. It's time to stop teenage guys from getting charged as felons for forwarding text messages. It's time to stop teenage girls from killing themselves when their picture ends up all over school. I'm not being dramatic here, guys. I'm not overreacting. I'm being truthful. It's time to take a stand with me, here and now. So here's the plan. Guys, it's time to man up. Step number 1, stop looking at porn. Now, you can't do it alone. You need help, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. Talk to somebody who will hold you accountable. Step number 2, stop treating your girlfriend like she's nothing more than a fantasy with no purpose but to gratify you. If you can learn to respect women for who they are in their heads and in their hearts, I can promise you rich and fulfilling relationships that you can't even begin to imagine. But you can't do it if you continue to fill your head with all the wrong examples. Girls, real women think for themselves. They don't do what guys tell them to just because guys tell them to. You are beautiful, intelligent people, and if some guy tells you that you need to send him a naked picture of yourself in order for him to like you, drop his butt to the pavement. You don't need him, and you certainly don't need him showing that picture to other people, which I promise you he will do, regardless of how much you think he loves you. What you need is a guy who respects you for who you are when you have your clothes on. Everybody, think about your actions. Consider the consequences. You had better start now because this is one thing that will affect you for your entire life in 1,000 different ways. If you take this seriously, if you draw a line in the sand at this very moment, you can and will change your own life and the culture and the lives of the people around you. And believe it or not, you guys are really the only ones who have the power to do that anymore. If you struggle with any of these issues, please, please, please talk to your small group leader about it. If you'd rather not talk face-to-face, send them an email, or feel free to send me an email at amarshall@community-christian.net, or ask your small group leader for their email. We can help you. It's what we're here for.